Hi, BB here again, and in this tutorial I'm going to look at the grab, scale and rotate functions, and I'll start by doing that in the object mode, and then when I've shown how to do that we'll go into edit mode and look at the different ways you can select parts of your object in order to edit them. So first, grab, scale and rotate. That's G, S and R on the keyboard. So here we are in the default opening Blender view. I press G and the cube is now outlined in white, and I don't click anything again, and just moving the mouse around the object moves with it. Now in any of these operations you can just press escape at any time to finish them. So escape and it's back to where we started, it hasn't carried out. Now the next thing with all these three functions is that if you type the letter G, S or R followed by the axis that you want it to move on, it will restrict it to that axis. So if I want to move on the Y-axis, I press G, Y, and then it'll only move on that line. Now I can press left click or enter to finish, and similarly if I press G, Z, it'll move up and down. I'll press escape this time. Do Control Z to get back to where I was. And finally, you can add another thing to these. If you press the letter key G followed by the axis followed by a number, you will get the object to move that number of units in the case of G on that axis. So if I press G, Y, 1, it just moves it. If I press G, Y and -1, it'll take it back 1 unit. So this is very useful for precise and controlled movements. Now the same principles apply for scale and rotate. To scale an object, I press, first of all notice by the way that with these next ones, where the mouse pointer is when you start is going to affect the, if you like, the speed or the force of your operation. So I press the mouse a little away from it and I press S and drag the mouse, it scales the object in and out. Again I can press escape to stop. If I put the mouse in the middle of the object here and then press S, I get a much more rapid movement. Escape. And if my mouse is way out here, I get very small control movements. That can be useful. Escape again to get out. To scale an object on the Z-axis, I can go S, Z, scaling it up and down, escape, and similarly for Y and X. Again here I can use numbers, so I can scale this, say 50%, so if I go S 0.5, it makes the thing half as big. If I then go S 2, it brings it back to the original size, it doubles it. So scale it, say 50% on the Z-axis, SZ 0.5, and it's half as high. SZ 2, and it's back again. Rotate, press R, and the object's in a sort of free rotate. Press escape. Rotate it on the X-axis, so RX, and I can move it around just on that axis. And the same for the other axes. And now this time you can specify the rotation as you want in degrees, so I can go SZ 45, oops, I meant RZ 45, turns it 45 degrees. RZ -45 takes it back to where it was. I think it's about time we got into edit. Quick point before we get into that. First I'll duplicate the object, Shift D, and just move it over here so you can see two objects. When we're in object mode, pressing A will select or deselect everything in the scene, like this. In edit mode, you're only going to be working on the object that's active. And what we do is, if you've got more than one object in the scene as here, you click on the object you want to edit, so that that's highlighted, and then you go into edit mode, and you'll only be operating on that. Everything else in the scene will be immune, really. So to get into edit mode, go down here, click,